Wouldn't it be great if you could get unlimited reviews on your next Amazon KDP book? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how, in theory, you can do exactly that. What's up, guys? Dave Jacobson here, best-selling author and book publisher. In today's video, we're going to revisit book review sites. Yes, you've probably heard of these before. Pubby.co is one that comes to mind. But in this video, we're going to do a deep dive on some of the more popular review sites. We're going to cover some of the features and the differences between the different sites. I'm going to cover one of my favorite new review sites that you may not have heard of yet. And I'm going to show you at the end of the video, so stick around to the end, how you can get a very deep discount for the life of your account if you're interested in trying this type of service at a much cheaper rate. So without further ado, I'm going to shrink my melon-sized head and we're going to dive into the video. So before I get too far along into this and talking about some of the differences between the various sites and the features that they have, I wanted to just cover briefly, what these types of sites actually offer to do. So we're going to start with this one here, Pubby.co. So Pubby.co is, one of the more popular review sites out there. And basically, what all of these review sites have in common, including Pubby.co, is you can add your books, right? You can add your books to the site. So books that you've already published on Amazon, for example, you can add to the site. And what that allows you to do is then request reviews from other people who use the site. And how you get reviews, instead of purchasing reviews outright, you have to earn these basically different forms of digital currency. So in this case, for this site, you earn what's called snaps, right? And the way you earn those snaps is you support other authors by reading and reviewing their books. So on the one hand, it sounds like a lot of work, right? Something you might not be interested in doing. But on the other hand, as I'm going to go into detail with in a minute, having these reviews can really give a boost to your sales and the performance of your book, which of course is why authors use these types of sites. So then once you've earned the snaps, then you can trade those in to request reviews. Now, the reason these types of sites do it this way is because Amazon explicitly says on their website that you cannot pay for book reviews. Right, and there's an obvious reason that they do this. They don't want, they want the reviews on their site to be legitimate in order for their customers to have a positive experience, and the people who are actually purchasing the books to have faith in the review system. Right, so in order to get around that, this is how these websites do it. Right, that you don't actually ever pay for reviews directly. You earn snaps by supporting the author community, and then you can, in turn, get reviews for your books in exchange, right? I'm going to talk about in a minute whether I think this actually does successfully get around Amazon's policies and whether or not this is something you should consider doing as an author. But before I do, I want to do a deeper dive into exactly some of the features that Pubby offers, and then we're going to take a look at two other sites. We're going to take a look at this one, BookBite, which is now called Bookblaze, and then we're going to talk about a new similar site called Gemsy. So let's talk about the features of Pubby, right? And then we're going to talk about some of the differences between these sites and which I recommend you consider using. So one of the great things about Pubby, and this is Pubby.co, by the way, you can go to Pubby.co if you're interested in this, is that it's well established. So this is one of the sites that's been around the longest. It definitely has maybe one of the better reputations as this type of site may have because it's been around for so long. People have used it quite a bit. So there's a lot of books who have been on this site and they've used it and they've gotten reviews. So a lot of people feel familiar with and comfortable with this site, and that is definitely a benefit, right? If you're not unsure of something, then going with something that's been around and established for a while is definitely what I would consider to be a benefit. But basically, what you can do on this in terms of features, right? You can get, in theory, unlimited reviews. I say in theory because there's only so many reviewers on the site, right? So there's not like a million reviewers on the site, and so you can get a million reviews. But in theory, as many people who are willing to review your book, you can get reviews in theory, right? They also offer this bonus review program where readers can actually exchange reviews for free, right? Which is a nice little perk. You can cancel your subscription at any time. So this is critical, right? If you don't like the service, try it out for a month, try it out for 2 months. And if you don't like it, no problem. You can always cancel. They do boast fast turnaround. Turnaround standard delivery is 3 days, which we'll get to in a minute. It's faster than some of these other ones. And there's no charge or fee per review. Now that is kind of not true. I mean, it's true from the perspective of how they want to market this service, right? So they want to market this as you're not actually ever paying for a review. And again, because Amazon's policies strictly forbid that. But you are paying to become part of the community, right? So although you're not paying per review, you are paying a monthly subscription rate, which I'm going to get to in a minute. And then finally, they have, they talk about the privacy. Authors' books are only seen by interested reviewers. That's actually pretty important because you don't want just anybody talking about, hey, this guy's on this website, and it kind of could diminish or tarnish your reputation as an author. So I consider that to be a pretty good perk as well. Now, let's get into the pricing before we get into these other services. So for Pubby, you can get, in theory, again, unlimited reviews for all of your books for $20 per month, which is a pretty good fee, I think, a pretty reasonable rate if you're doing a lot of these and you're really taking your professional authorship career seriously. They do offer you a free account for 10 days, so you can try it out, you can play around, and you might even be able to get, do some of the reading that you need to do of other people's works in order to start accumulating some snaps, as they call them, during that 10-day period so that you're ready to roll and request reviews once the 10-day free trial is up. But you can try it for free and cancel anytime. Okay, so that's Pubby in a nutshell. Let's now take a look at Bookblaze. So Bookblaze is very similar to Pubby, right? They have, they have the ability to upload your book, request reviews for your books, and then earn, they call them coins. Instead of snaps for Bookblaze, it's coins. By the way, Bookblaze used to be BookBite, hence the title of the video. Now it's Bookblaze. And then, of course, you can request reviews for your book and or your audiobook. Now, this is a key feature that distinguishes it, I think, from Pubby. So Bookblaze, there's a strong emphasis and focus on audiobooks. So if you're somebody who has a lot of audiobooks and it's important for you to focus on that aspect of your book selling business, then I think that Bookblaze may be the way to go for you. But otherwise, they offer similar services when it comes to the published books and Kindle Unlimited books, right? Now, they do boast that the site is proven by 100,000 book reviews and 20,000 audiobook reviews. That's a lot of reviews. So again, this is trusted. It's been around for a long time, which is definitely a perk. In terms of pricing, Bookblaze offers very different packages than Pubby. So Pubby just has the $20 per month option, but Bookblaze offers a $4.99 per month option. However, I need to provide an important caveat here, which is this $4.99 per month starter plan only allows you to read and review books and audiobooks in their library, right? So don't think that this is much cheaper than Pubby. It's actually more expensive, as I'll show you in a minute. But at least you can spend $4.99 per month to, just if you want to kind of not spend a lot while you're reviewing a bunch of other people's works, building up those coins so that you can later request reviews for your books. Well, then this is a way to save some money in that sort of interim period, right? Next, they offer the unlimited audiobooks option, which is $19.99 per month. That just allows you to get reviews for your audiobooks. And again, If you're interested in reviews for your audiobooks, this is a great service that you can consider. Now, if you want to get unlimited reviews for your actual print books, then you have to pay $24.99 per month. So it's actually more expensive than Pubby at $20 per month for a similar service, right? And if you want to do both unlimited and audiobooks, but print books and audiobooks, then you pay $29.99 per month. So again, if you're somebody who wants to get audiobooks in addition to your print books reviewed, then this service may be right for you. Now let's talk about a third newer service called Gemsy, and you can access this one at gemsy.io. And one of the things I love about this particular review site is, number one, it has a really sleek interface compared to the other ones that look kind of outdated to me. You know, this seems like kind of 1990s web design. But anyway, it's kind of a better interface, easier to use, I find. And, you know, they have, I'll get into the pricing in a minute. But, you know, one of the things I really like about this particular service is you can get this for a really good price, because I have the ability, you know, the owner of this company reached out to me and gave me a pretty significant, pretty sweet deal, promo code, which I can share with you toward the end of this video. So if you're interested in using this service, I can actually help you get 30% off for the lifetime value of the service. If you're interested in this kind of thing, that might help you if you're a new author with saving money. But similar to the other sites, you know, the features are pretty similar. You can get unlimited reviews in theory, quick turnaround, no review fees. Again, you do have to pay the monthly service, cancel at any time. And so, you know, those are some good benefits. Another thing to know about this site is they just launched some new features. So now you can actually, in addition to getting Amazon reviews, you can get Goodreads reviews as well. You can mix and match your review types, so you can get some, Kindle Unlimited and then also standard print reviews. And one of the things that's key also is they just recently rolled out verified purchase reviews. So what verified purchase reviews are is, if you've ever gone on Amazon, you can leave a regular review, or if you've actually purchased the book, then and you review it, then you can have this little sort of badge next to your review that says verified purchase or purchaser. And that just kind of adds a little bit more credibility to the review. So that's a nice, really important feature that they recently rolled out. And then they also say, glad to announce that any user can simultaneously review up to 3 books of the following type: standard, Kindle Unlimited, or verified purchase, and up to 2 books of the verified print type. So those are some new features. This is what it looks like when you first log into the site. You can add a new book. So this is where you'd add the title, the author, and the book ASIN code. And then you go to the next step and provide more details about your book and exactly what you're looking for in your request. Then they have, you know, if you have actually uploaded books, then this is where you'd see all of your books all in one place. Then they have the library, and this is where you can actually choose the other books that you want to review, right? And they have this free feature where you can sort by free, and that means you don't have to pay and purchase the book. You can just literally download a PDF of it and then review it once you've read it, the PDF version. So let's say you wanted to use that, you'd click on the website, on the particular listing, and then you could pick the book. You can view it on Amazon if you like, and then proceed to provide the review, right? They also allow you to choose Kindle Unlimited books if you want to review those, verified purchase, and so these are people who are looking for verified purchases, right? In this case, you obviously have to pay to do the purchase, but a lot of times, like this one only requires a 99-cent purchase because it's a KDP book, right? Or you can sort by which ones offer you the most gems, right? And here's verified print. So those are some of the types of features that you can see once you log into the website. Now I want to show you guys how, if you're interested in using these services, by the way, let me, before I share with you the discount code and give you my opinion on which of these is the best. Let's talk for a moment about whether or not you should be using these services to begin with as an author. So the pros of using this service are pretty obvious, right? You can get potentially unlimited reviews for your book. Now, this is incredibly important, particularly if you're an author just starting out. So if you don't have, an email list to get the ball rolling in getting the word out about your new book that you put out on Amazon, this can help you get the ball rolling with those reviews early on. And I've heard stories where people get, 10 to 20 reviews in a month or two, which is a significant amount of reviews, right? It's hard to get that. Usually you have to sell at least 10 books or so to get one review. So this can really speed up that path for you. This is critically important from a social proof standpoint. So think about it this way, right? If you're going to Amazon and you want to purchase a book, are you going to purchase the book that has 0 reviews or the one that has 100 reviews, 5-star reviews? You're definitely going to lean towards the one with a lot more reviews, and that is where the power of these services come in. Okay, so the negative side is, first, you got to pay for the service, right? Either $20 a month or less if you use the Gemsy discount code, which I'll share with you in a minute. Or you could pay $24.99 a month to use the other one as well, the BookBite, which changed its name to Bookblaze, right? So you have to pay for the service. That is obviously a con. Another con is there's some ambiguity, unfortunately, as to whether these services are even permitted per the terms of Amazon's policies. What do I mean by that? Well, first, it's important to point out that Amazon's never come out and said that these sites like Pubby cannot be used, and I don't think they ever will. I did a whole video on this talking about Amazon has a vested interest in having reviews on their products, right? The more products with 5 stars they have, the easier it is for them to sell, and the easier it is for them to make revenue and profit. On the other hand, they're never going to come out probably and say, we condone usage of these review sites, because if they did that, they may lose credibility and trust with their audience who's purchasing the books, right? So as a result, there's this gray area and ambiguity around whether or not you should be using these services as an author. So what is my opinion on it? My opinion is, first, you definitely need reviews. Particularly if you're a new author. So it's something worth considering. Be very careful and make sure you carefully review Amazon's policies. And at the end of the day, after you review all of their policies and after you review how these sites work and make sure that everything is compliant with their policies, use your own judgment, right? I'm not going to tell you what to do as an author. I'm just going to give you the full spectrum of tools that you could potentially use so you can have the highest chance of success. So with that said, if you are interested in using these kinds of service and you want to learn how to get a discount on this particular service, Gemsy, let me show you now how you can do that. So first of all, the first thing you got to do is click on this try for free. Once you do that, you'll have to log in. So it actually brought me to my account. So let me log out real quick and show you what that looks like. So once you, if you're logged out, then you'll have to register, right? And so you'll provide your email, your password, your name, and the marketplace where you want to post your review. So that could be amazon.k, amazon.co.uk, etc., right? And then you click the terms of use and start your free trial. Once you've done that, it's going to take you to a page eventually that looks like this, right? And this is where you're checking out. And when you're checking out, you would click this add promotion code right under where it says subtitle. And this is where you'd add the promotional code, which is David30. David30. The David obviously stands for me. The 30 stands for 30% off the lifetime value of using the account, right? So David30 is the discount code. Feel free to play around with it if you're interested in saving a fair amount of money, to see if you like this type of thing and these types of services. But let me know in the comments, guys, what you think if you do use any of these services, and if you decide to give it a try. I really want to hear about what you think about them. And if you got value out of this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and I will see you next time.